the punctuality that Finns have. When there something is said that it will happen on this time, in here it usually does. And then in some other cultures it means nothing, basically.
Yeah.
And then in some seminars or workshops it might be that the Finns are there but no one else is there. As a really young child I used to record workout or exercise sessions. So I think I was 5 years old and I had my own mixtape where there was the music and I was telling people that now we are gonna run and now we are gonna do jumping jacks. So maybe that would be it. Teaching pedagogy that I have, I think it has evolved through all these different teaching experiences I have.
Field of economics. Was it a choice or was it an accident?
I think it was a bit of an accident. So I love sports. So that's probably the main reason, but I also think that it helped me a lot with the work-life balance. I actually have started my teaching as a violin and kantele teacher, which is like a traditional instrument in Finland. I guess the Finnish educational system is very unique in a sense that we have a free education for the students. We also have very highly educated teachers. Our teachers have to have a master's degree. Also the teacher at the daycare and preschool, they also go to the university usually. How to maybe find good incentives for people to build more sustainable environment and make good choices. Also how to develop political decisions and create good decisions to promote planetal well-being.
Hello, Susanna.
Hello, Jay.
Welcome to TSP Podcast.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. I have had a good bike trip in the morning and it's good to see you after some time.
I think the weather is getting very better.
I think
isn't
so.
That?
Yeah.
Perfect. Tell me something. You have been a very nice researcher, a university teacher, have a great profile in your research background, and then you are also a sports person. A very, very interesting games that you play and very much interested into sports. How do you manage these all things together?
I think they are good combination. The sports go well with the work that is very much based on reading and spending a lot of time also on the laptop and the computer. So I think sports is a good complement for that. And maybe also when you really like something, you find time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the sports are kind of helping for maintaining the work-life balance, for example? Is that the main reason, or is it because you like to play sports?
Well, I love sports. So that's probably the main reason, but I also think that it helps me a lot with the work-life balance. So it's very important for that. Without it, I don't think I could do as much work as I do now.
The field of economics, was it a choice or was it an accident?
I think it was a bit of an accident. So when I was in high school, I did not really know yet what I would like to do. My parents were very much pushing me towards business studies. And then I started in polytechnics and I stayed there for 1 year. I really, really liked math always and then languages. And then I thought that if I would go to the university, then maybe it would be accounting or economics because of the math, basically.
Because of the math, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then based on the first year at the polytechnics, I decided then to go for economics.
Yeah. I think this is very interesting because, many of the youth or young generation think about proactively before they choose some field, and which is very evident and important as well.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes some accidents are also good.
Yeah, I think you can find your way through any choice or accident. Basically, it's always, of course, great if you already know what you want, and I think then it's perfect to pursue that. But if you don't, then I think you will find your way either way.
Perfect. Yeah. I think you have been teaching a lot of courses. Is there some kind of philosophy that you follow? Because you might be exposed to, Finnish students and also the exchange semester or foreign students. So how are you managing the in-class philosophy of teaching or pedagogy, let's say?
I think I have been lucky to teach many things throughout my career. I actually have started my teaching as a violin and kantele teacher, which is like a traditional instrument in Finland. And then I have been teaching in prep courses for the university. And then later on, when I started my doctoral research, then I was lucky to teach many courses during the doctoral research already. So then the teaching pedagogy that I have, I think it has evolved through all these different teaching experiments or experiences I have. And of course, all the pedagogical studies have helped me a lot. So I have done some pedagogical studies at the university, but also at the sports faculty when I studied to be a sports teacher. And therefore, after all the studies and all the teaching, my teaching philosophy or the pedagogical approach that I have is very much based on interaction and also building on top of the knowledge that you already have and the experiences that you already have. Because the theories that kind of emphasize that, they always tell that it's very important to interact and then have the kind of build on the knowledge on top of the knowledge that you already have.
Right.
So that's kind of very the teaching pedagogy and philosophical approaches that I have come from.
I think it's a very interesting phenomenon because the university teaching is not easy. It's really based on the research and the philosophies and then theories to make student understand that. How do you manage to do this interaction? Is it easy sometimes, or in class, or do you think it's kind of sometimes challenging?
Well, I think it can be both. Usually, kind of the university students are not always used to having a lot of interaction in the classes because when they start their studies, they usually study in very big classes. They might have hundreds of students in the same class, and therefore there might not be that much interaction going on. But then I feel like when they get used to it and when they get to do it, they really, really like it. So when you get started, then you feel kind of you are sure about your approach yourself. I think they usually really, really like it, and usually it works really well. They have brilliant ideas, and I'm really interested to hear what they think.
I think this is completely fine because I'm also a teacher. I think like we learn together.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
something that it's not like the very traditional historical approaches that it's kind of a monologue and teachers saying them. But this time we're learning together. Students have very different perspective and interesting angles to bring in.
Exactly.
Has that happened with you as well?
Yeah, I think it's like that every day. So I feel like it's like learning on both sides.
Learning on both sides. Yeah, exactly. And you have been growing in Finland in the education system, and the whole world is talking about Finnish education system. How beautiful it is, how impactful it is. The Finnish education system is going in different part of the world as well. The schooling culture as well. What is your take? What values you have learned from the Finnish education system?
I guess the Finnish educational system is very unique in a sense that we have a free education for the students. We also have very highly educated teachers. Our teachers have to have a master's degree. Also, the teacher at the daycare and preschool, they also go to the university usually. So we have a very good kind of teachers and also I think it's very good for equality that everyone get to go to school. Maybe as an educator, I am a big believer in education, but yeah. And then what would be my kind of values or what I would take from the education is that it kind of gives you a possibility to learn what you like and grow inside of safe environment. And I like how everyone goes to school and you get to meet people from different backgrounds and you learn a lot from them. So I think the schooling is very important.
Yeah. So overall, system is built in such a way that every teacher, whether they are in a school or in a university, have to do certain kind of certification or university degree qualification in order to be
Yeah,
there, and that's one important aspect as well. And learning about every age is also important.
I think so. Our teachers are also very. Maybe the teaching profession is quite valued in Finland overall, and therefore also kind of very good students want to be teachers themselves. So it's so that the teachers that we have are very skilled in many ways on top of the kind of having a good degree.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. Now, as an economist and educator, what do you think that what is the role of an economist or educator on the society as whole?
Well, economics is very central topic nowadays. I feel like all over the news and in society overall, and it's important for everyone to know something about economics because it affects to everyone's lives. So therefore, I think the economics education is good for everyone, at least at some level. So I think that's one thing. But then economics is very important also in supporting the political decision making, and the research that economists do is very important for the economic and the society overall.
Yeah. And I think I was reading your profile, so you are more focusing on sustainability and sustainable issues. So could you kind of like to highlight what are those areas and why those are important in this field?
I started my doctoral research with other topics, more like educational topics, also mental health and labor markets. But then lately, the courses that I have been teaching and building, they have been related to sustainability and environmental questions, which are really, really important now with climate change and all other biodiversity questions that are very much
Yes.
kind of important now. And what economics has to say about that, maybe it's about how to maybe find good incentives for people to build more sustainable environment and make good choices. Also, how to develop political decisions and create good decisions to promote planetal well-being and
Yeah.
things like that. So
I think that's very important
yeah.
areas and issues that we should talk about and try to learn about and then argue about. I think those are very important topics nowadays, for example. And also, as a teacher, we are also focusing on how to bring sustainability. It's all about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Very good. What is the most rewarding moment when you are teaching?
There have been so many. On the other hand, there has been already, like when I was teaching the violin or kantele playing, I always remember students who they really worked really, really hard. And then when they kind of succeeded with something, with performing or some sort of test they had or something, and they were so happy with the results. I remember all those moments. And it has happened later on also with economics, whenever the students really, they understand something or they really kind of succeed after working really hard. It makes me really, really happy.
Yeah, I think this is the most important reward I think the teacher can get away.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in class, you are trying to read the faces as well. How are they, catching the content, for example. And then after
Yeah.
the course is ending and how is the feedback of the course, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, those are very important and rewarding moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, very good. If you were not an educator, what was the other profession that you would have been into?
When I was a really young child, I used to record workout or exercise sessions. So I think I was 5 years old and I had my own mixtape where there was the music and I was
Wow.
telling people that now we are going to run and now we are going to do jumping jacks. So maybe that would be it. Then
Yeah.
I would do something with sports maybe or...
Yeah, I think that's
think so.
That's a complete, and I think you're already doing it, so you're not leaving it behind.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
so.
I think that's a very good inspiration as well. For
Yeah.
me as well. Yes, so I think this whole conversation about the research and teaching field is very interesting because there are many prospect students who are looking for such kind of careers. and would like to come to do the research and evolve in the field of research and try to understand and then proceed towards an academic career. What is an advice that you would like to give to the international student and also the other all the students basically, that if they would like to approach for a career like that, what would they should do and how should they plan their planning for future?
Well, first of all, I would say if you would like to have a career in academia or you would like to do research, then go for it. If it's something that you feel like you would want to do, then always I think it's a good idea to try to get what you want. But then maybe when you, especially if you come from a different country and you come to Finland, then I think it's important to have an open mind, try to get to know as many people as you can, network and kind of build the career through that way too, because of course it's important to focus on the research, but it's also good to have good people around you who can support you and who you can maybe work with later on in the future.
Yeah.
Then if you want to do the PhD, it's gonna be many years with the research and the book that you are gonna be writing. So deciding the topic is also something that is good to spend some time on and think what you are interested in, and if it is something that is gonna be that you are gonna be able to do. There's data or there will be some starting point to start with.
Yeah. I think this is very important suggestions. I think so. It's a very long journey, I would say.
Yeah.
So overall, if I ask you, for example, growing in Finland, how you embrace the other cultures, for example? So you have been traveling a lot. How is Finnish culture different than the other cultures, and what are the key differences, for example, if you would like to highlight those?
I think you can find differences depending on which country you are going to or where you are coming from. There will be always big differences. Even when you are traveling in Nordic countries, maybe you can find some differences, although they are more close to Finland than maybe some other countries. But yeah, I have been lucky to meet a lot of people from different cultures and travel also. I don't know if I can say the key differences, but maybe I can tell you some of the experiences that have been kind of a little bit funny when having people from different cultures.
I think that can help here.
Yeah, maybe one thing is the punctuality that Finns have. When there's something is said that it will happen on this time, in here it usually does. And then in some other cultures it means nothing, basically.
Yeah.
And then in some seminars or workshops, it might be that the Finns are there, but no one else is there. Or then at the dinner, it also can be that you have to wait for other people to arrive because they have just started to get ready when you are already there.
The time is one important aspect that you're talking about here.
Thing. Yeah.
What else you think about? Like, what other aspect you think about?
Well, maybe the stereotypes might be that Finns are a bit, or they are a bit quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's something that usually when you get to know them, it gets easier and they are very talkative in the end. I actually think that maybe you are more, you could tell some of the differences that you have noticed when you've been here.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair as well. I can take this question,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with you completely,
Yeah.
I think this is maybe like, a kind of a common judgment. But I think it's more about knowing people.
Yeah.
And the first step is like approaching, and it takes time, a bit time. But I would say it's open the window to make a very good friends, to talk to them and trust them as well. I think that's a very beautiful thing about the Finnish culture, that, you are kind of in a zone with making friends that you rely with, So it's not about the quantity, but the quality at the same time. So I think that's something brings a very beautiful phenomena in the Finnish society.
Yeah.
And then I know you were talking about the time. So I recall, I being in Finland and trying to, understand the system.
Yeah.
And then, I recall one of my incident, that happens with my friends, for example. So my friend will ask me to go out for the gym, and I would say, in our culture, it's like, we barely say no, or, we say like, okay, no, saying no is not nice.
Yeah.
And I think it's with the Southeast Asian culture, I know many other cultures as well. Maybe somebody will disagree with me. It's okay. But then, so here comes this scenario. So if somebody said like, okay, you're coming to gym. And yes, okay, what time? 7? Okay. And then I go back home before that. And then comes a message that, okay, are you still coming to the gym?
Yeah.
It's about to be 7. And then I realized that, I did say yes. And I all the way have to go back and, join the person and to make sure that, what I said is yes. And then I understood that my friend said, that in Finland, if you say yes, it is a yes.
Yeah, maybe that's another thing. It's like people usually really mean what they say. They are very honest, maybe sometimes straightforward also.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you say yes, then they will think that you are coming.
Yeah, then you're coming. So it's a very, very important takeaway in the Finnish society. If you're really looking forward for coming here, or looking for a career, for example, in this part of the world. Good. But we keep talking about different culture point in between. But Suzanne, what do you think about this new technological evolution? We have been talking about AI, in every aspect, and I think we have been debating and we have been embracing it. It's a very useful tool. At the very same time, it is challenging different jobs. There are new jobs coming in the market. A bit of chaos. But I've been asking this question to different personalities, professionals. One thing that I have understood from their opinion that they are scared. One thing is that, so which is good. How do you see the technological or AI perspective in our life and also in our career as a teachers? Should we be worried? If not, then how do you see that?
I think for at least at this point, the amount of AI that I can, for example, use in my work, or how much I can kind of get help from AI is a little bit limited. But I do think that it's going to maybe change in the future. I think it's going to develop, and maybe I can have some of my work kind of done with the help of AI. But then in teaching, the interactive part is really, really important. And I wonder if that is something that cannot really be taken away from the teacher, or at least I think it's something that I would want to have myself. Yeah, but I think it's important to learn how to use it, how to know it, both for the teachers and for the students. We take a lot of courses on that, and we educate ourselves. And we are trying to learn also how to detect when the AI has been the one who has done the assignments.
Yeah.
And then there's the other part of the use of AI, that it has a really, really big environmental effects. So it has both ethical questions, but also the kind of the change that it's gonna have, or the effects that it's gonna have on labor markets.
Yeah.
So time will tell. I think some of the work will be probably easier in the future with the help of AI, but some work cannot be replaced with that. That would be my guess at this point.
Yeah. And talking about this opinion of yours, and I think it's very much aligned with the current scenario, and I think my opinion as well. But at the same time, we think about when designing a curriculum, it has become a challenge as well. So if you design a curriculum, or let's say it's not it's about the university or applied sciences, for example, or every other part of the world, what will be after 4 years? It has also become challenge that the things that we are now learning will that be going to be relevant, for example, in the future? How do you see that perspective?
I think the world is changing so fast that the thing that we really need to learn is how to learn all the time, and also in the future. So it's not maybe only the facts or the theories that are kind of valid right now, but just to learn how to learn also in the future and keep up with the work
Yeah.
world and the work. Yeah.
And the work as well. And the work.
Because I think the work life is changing all the time too. So there's really, that's something that is really important then.
Yeah. I know you're talking about the work-life situation. I think there's growing work
Sure.
in that sense because we are kind of, doing a couple of things which are automation. It's coming in our life, for example. With this increasing work, how do you think in Finnish work culture, how do you balance the work-life situation and the well-being?
Well, if you have a family in Finland, then I think it's quite unique the way we have the support for the families. The parental leaves are quite good, and all the benefits that the families also get. There are some monetary benefits, but also then the daycare and the schooling and all of that. But then also if you don't have the family, then it's more about kind of trying to find the way to balance it also yourself. I think it's something that you have to learn a little bit yourself too, and maybe study that also a little bit, like what would be good for you and how you are going to be able to manage that. Because many jobs, at least if you are doing some sort of academic jobs, they remind a lot of being an entrepreneur. So you are very independent in your work. You have to manage the workload and the schedules, and you are very much planning your work yourself. And therefore, you are also planning the parts where when you rest and take time for yourself.
And as in this is very good information, in that part that there's a good support system because life is not easy. We are at the end of the human, and that perspective must be taken care of. But from the employer perspective, how do you see that in Finland? Are employer very much interested into making sure of the well-being of the employees?
At least I have been lucky in that sense that I feel like my employers are, and my manager is, my team is. So it's very much so that it's discussed in regularly how the well-being is and how you are doing with the workload. And I feel like it's important.
Can you give some example? For example, that has been a very important aspect of to understand that I've been taken care of. Let's say.
Well, I think when the whole, at least at the Open University, we have had like the Open University level workshops where we are discussing the well-being of the staff. Also, that there are discussions with your manager. It's very kind of easy to feel that you have been heard and you have been able to talk about the workload with your manager and with the team. So I think because it's always there, kind of people are taking care of each other, and so
I mean, this is good, because why I'm talking about that, because many of the work cultures are very difficult.
Sure.
So it's kind of a pushy environment. But it's so nice that you or we are able to talk to our managers and to understand it, and how can we do our best in given the scenario, and that's it.
Maybe it's a question also of the low hierarchy that we have here.
All right.
Because I think it's very, compared to some other countries, we have very low hierarchy.
Yes. Yes, you are approachable, by the way. You can approach anyone in your organization easily.
Yeah.
So you don't need to pass some layers, for example, or there's no some one person who's like,
No.
I will see. No, it's not like that.
No.
Yeah. So very good. You talked about the Open University. Okay. So would like to highlight what is this Open University and what it does, for example, for our audience?
Yeah. Well, Open University provides the university level studies for everyone, basically. We teach the courses that are in curriculum of the university. And then it's also possible to apply to the university based on the studies that you have done at the Open University. So basically, we provide the university level teaching or courses for everyone.
All right. So they are online courses?
Yeah, they are mostly online courses. Some courses also have real-time teaching, or for example, in drama, they also have like in-class teaching, but in economics specifically, it's online teaching.
That's very nice to know about that. Finland is a very yeah, kind of a country who is giving opportunity despite gender, for example,
Yeah.
and you have been growing in Finland. Have you kind of faced kind of a challenges with your gender, like being women or like say and getting more opportunities? Is it so?
I don't think I could name any challenges that I would have faced because of being a woman. I'm in a field which is very or which interests men a lot. So I'm in a minority, I think. Sometimes the students have even mentioned in the feedback that it's nice to have a female teaching economics. But no, maybe if something
Yeah.
it's I wonder if it has been more, easier for me to kind of bring soft aspects on economics because of the gender. Who knows? But
Yeah, but that's so beautiful.
maybe.
Yeah, and I think the equal opportunities. If you take the stats, for example, women in the field and men in the field, and Finland is among the top countries who is giving the
Yeah.
opportunity. And how do you
Yeah.
see that perspective?
I think it's really, really important, and I value that a lot. I think it's a question of also for women that they are able to work, and even if they have families, they are able to combine the work and the family life. Women are actually more educated now in Finland than men, and maybe that's also something that has led to the equality in the working life also, that the education level is so high for women nowadays.
And I want you to talk a little more about it because why is so? What is the reason behind that? How can other societies learn with this phenomena, for example?
I think that would be one thing, the kind of first of all get the right to study or make it possible for everyone to go to school and study and therefore build the career, and then to be able to combine also, if you have the family hopes, then to be able to combine that. And then it takes a lot of changes in kind of attitudes maybe also, and it's a long process, I guess,
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah, it's a long process to get there, but of course, it's also always nice to learn and make sure that every gender has all the equal opportunities, just like in Finland.
Yeah.
And I think we even don't talk about genders, by the way.
No.
I want to tell that like it's very uncomfortable in Finland to talk about gender. But I
Yeah.
raised this question because it's important for the general audience.
Yeah.
But in Finland, if you barely talk about genders, you talk about professions, you talk about friendship and everything else. But it's because it's not the topic to talk about because we are about that.
Yeah.
Let's say we have gone beyond that.
Yeah.
But I understand that being in Finland. But of course, it's important for other prospect who are looking for a future and a brighter understanding they might have to also reflect upon that. That's
Sure.
how far we are going
Yeah.
in that scenario, for example. Let's go back to the Finnish culture a bit. We didn't talk much about that. What is the good highlight that you would like to talk about? The sauna cultures, you didn't mention that, by the way. So I'm going to remind you perhaps a bit more.
Sauna culture is important in Finland, of course. Jay has also been joining me and my colleagues sometimes in sauna trips and gone to ice swimming
Yeah.
very bravely, which is great.
Did you heard that ice swimming, by the way? We do it here. It's really ice swimming here. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think in Finland, what I personally really really enjoy is the nature. We have a lot of like in this city, for example, in Jyväskylä, it's surrounded by forests and lakes, and I think it's amazing. I love the 4 seasons that we have. You get to experience all of those.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these all aspects are very, very important. And by the way, when somebody comes here, only then they can experience in that scenario. Do you remember something about me when we first met?
I wonder, I think it has been already almost 10 years when we first met. I wonder what has been the first time. Do you remember that yourself?
I think I was just grabbing a coffee and I saw you. It's like, hello.
Okay. Sounds likely. I really like coffee, so yeah.
We both are kind of a coffee lover, you know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember my professors, you know, talking about the coffee, and I was like, "Do you want to drink coffee?" And like, I'm more of a person of a tea. And then like, okay, and you know, my professor taking like a coffee, black coffees, you know,
Yeah.
without a milk, and I'm like, okay, it's a
Yeah.
challenge. Is it a challenge? By the way, you will have a lot of challenge here, but those are very nice. You have to come over that, you know, in that scenario. But yeah, I think you know, it's overall a beautiful journey that we live, right? And it's a very nice to learn many things, and sometimes to unlearn a few things
Sure.
in order to learn new things in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what is your one favorite sports that you kind of like a lot?
Well, lately I think it has been dancing. And then when I was growing up, I really wanted to do gymnastics and dancing, but I was from a very small village and there was no such thing. So later on, as an adult, I started those hobbies and I have really enjoyed those.
Yeah. What does the perfect weekend look like in Finland, by the way?
Well, for me, it looks like a big cup of coffee in the morning, a slow morning, then hopefully some sports, preferably outside. It doesn't matter if it's summer or winter. I love to be outside. And then some time with close ones. That would sound amazing to me.
Yeah, spending time with the close one as well.
Yeah.
If you were supposed to change something in your life, it can be your career or something else, what would you change?
Well, I have a bad habit to get enthusiastic about million things in this life, so therefore I feel like life is a bit hectic sometimes. So I would hope that I will learn even better to find some time to kind of just stop for a minute and stay in this moment. So I think that would be amazing.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Stop for a moment. Yeah. That's something very nice. You know, sometimes you have to question yourself, are you happy?
Yeah, sure. It's good to have some time to reflect also and think through what is going on in your life, and it's good always to have that at some point.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Lastly, I would say that if you would like to advise something for a future generation or teenagers who are trying to, you know, find a career for their future, you know, and you know, making sure their studies and selecting nice programs, for example, for them, what is one advice that you can, you know, give to them, for example, based on your experiences so far?
Well, I think it's always good to go for your dreams and try to kind of just go for it if there's something that you want to have, and try to build a good group of people around you who can be there with you on your journey.
Great. Very great advice. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for
Thank
being on
you,
the
Jay.
podcast.
Thank you very much.